Cushing News Network. On 8:20 a.m., September 9, 1971, 5 companies of prisoners heard the news in Attica Prison, New York, that one of their companions was going to remain in his cell after being isolated for assault on an officer. 5 inmates protested and decided that they wanted to be locked up together, as they started walking back to their cells. The rest of the inmates started walking to breakfast. However, their behavior was noticed by the prison officers, and the officers decided to punish them by changing the usual scheduling. Instead of granting them access to the yard after breakfast, the prisoners were to be led back to their cells. As inmates started to complain, anger accumulated. When officers tried to calm down the prisoners, hell broke loose as the prisoners started assault and the riot began. Eventually, close to 2,200 inmates joined the riot as they rampaged through the prison, beating guards, looting, and burning. One guard named William Quinn was beaten badly and thrown out of a window. He later died in hospital. The inmates slowly gained control of different sections of the prison and found their way to the central control room, codenamed Times Square. They took 42 hostages, including officers and civilians, and made a list of demands. The prisoners demanded better medical treatment, visitation rights, end to physical brutality, better sanitation, improved food quality, and numerous other demands totaling up to 27. After long periods of time, the demands were not met, and the negotiation broke down. The inmates quickly became defensive and brought 4 officers to the top of the command center and threatened to slit their throats. The prisoners took defensive positions in trenches and electrified the wires. They poured gasoline around the prison in case the police decided to use force. At 9:46 a.m. on September 13, 1971, the New York State Police decided to retake the prison by force, and tear gas was dropped. They then fired on an open ground for 2 minutes non-stop, which led to the death of many hostages and inmates who were not resisting. By the time the prison was retaken, 9 hostages and 29 inmates had been killed. The New York State Special Commission on Attica wrote, "With the exception of Indian massacres in the late 19th century, the state police assault which ended the 4-day prison uprising was the bloodiest day encountered between Americans since the Civil War." Although media reports claimed that inmates had slit the throats of many of their hostages, it was later contradicted with official evidence. It was later agreed upon that the newspaper reports were staged for reprisals by troopers and prison officers.